Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students of 9C, Assalamu alaikum. I am your teacher Muhammad Ilyas, and this is our fifth introduction regarding chemistry for Cambridge. Dear students, today's our topic is energy from chemicals, and this is from the chapter number 7 of your book, and the topic number 5, the points G to J according to your CI syllabus. The objectives for today's session are as follows. We will try to understand the sources of energy like natural gas and the petroleum or crude oil, the fractional distillation of the crude oil as it is a mixture of hydrocarbons and its separation into useful fractions. Thirdly, we will focus on the name of the fractions and their uses obtained from the crude oil, like the petrol or gasoline, naphtha, paraffin or kerosene, diesel, lubricating oils, and bitumen. And the fourth point on which we will focus is the process of photosynthesis, which is very important for all the living things on this planet because it provides a renewable energy source. So one by one we will see and understand these objectives. The first one is natural gas as a source of energy. Natural gas is consumed 33% in the industries, 35% generating the power in the power stations, 17% in the residential areas, 12% in the commercial purposes, and 3% in the transportation. So these are the major uses of the natural gas in the different segments of life. Now we are going to focus on the composition of the natural gas. Natural gas is mainly comprising of the methane, which is about 70 to 90% according to this pie chart, and other hydrocarbons may also present in this. These hydrocarbons may consist of 2 carbon to 3 or 4 carbons. Hydrocarbons means ethane, propane or butane. These are also present in the natural gas in different percentages. Now we are going to look at the crude oil as a source of energy, because crude oil provides energy 32% in industrial areas, 24% in generation of electricity, 22% in the residential areas, 14% in commercial, and 8% in different segments of the life. The composition of the crude oil. Now we are focusing on the composition of the crude oil. Gasoline 45% present in the crude oil, low sulfur diesel 25%, other products 13%, kerosene 9%, hydrocarbon gas liquids 4%, residual fuel 2%, other distillates are heating oil 2%. So this is how you can understand from this pie chart in which percentages different fractions are present in the crude oil. Now we are focusing on the fractional distillation of the crude oil. Before going to that, we have to understand what is fractional distillation. Dear students, fractional distillation is a process in which we separate a mixture into a number of different parts called the fractions. And this fractional distillation based on a principle which shows that the different substances in the mixture have different boiling points, and on the basis of these boiling points we can separate the different fractions of a mixture. Now we are going to focus on the fractional distillation of the crude oil. Crude oil is a precious raw material. It is very little use in the form in which it leaves the ground. The material is converted into a series of useful products and starting materials for the chemical process in a refinery. Refining process separate hydrocarbons and modify their structures. The first stage of refining is primary distillation. Crude oil is a mixture of hydrocarbons which have boiling points ranging from 20 degrees centigrade to above 360 degrees centigrade. The process of fractional distillation is essentially a sorting process which separates the hydrocarbons into fractions on the basis of their boiling points, as I have discussed in the previous slide. The crude oil is heated to around 360 degrees centigrade in a furnace. At this temperature, most of the hydrocarbons are converted to gases. The mixture of liquid and gas passes into the bottom of the fractionating tower, as you can see from this diagram. Into the bottom of the fractionating tower operating at atmospheric pressure. Passing up the fractionating column, the temperature slowly decreases and the gaseous hydrocarbons condenses to become liquids according to their boiling points. The liquids are removed from the tower at different levels. Notice that the conditions in the fractionating column can be altered so that the temperature at which a particular fraction is taken off may vary within a given range. The major fractions obtained from the fractional distillation at atmospheric pressure are refinery gas and the liquid petroleum gas LPG, naphtha, kerosene, gas oil, heavy gas oil. At the bottom of the fractionating tower is a residue consisting of hydrocarbons with boiling point around 400 degrees centigrade or more. The residue goes into another furnace where it is heated to 400 degrees centigrade before passing into a second fractionating tower operating at reduced pressure. Lowering the pressure reduces the boiling point of a liquid. This allows the hydrocarbons in the residue to be distilled below the temperature at which they would decompose. The major products obtained from the fractional distillation at reduced pressure are lubricating oil, residue of the fuel oil or bitumen. Dear students, in this way we can get all these different fractions which you can see on this diagram by the fractional distillation of the crude oil. Now we are going to focus on the uses of the fractions of the crude oil. The gases, as you can see, their number of carbon atoms and the boiling points and some uses. The gases, some use as refinery gas as a source of heat for refinery processes. Propane and butane are called liquid petroleum gas LPG. They are stored in pressurized containers and sold under trade names like GAC and Calor gas. Secondly, the naphtha. Naphtha is used in for different purposes. This is the basis of petrol. Some is also used as a feedstock for cracking to produce a higher proportion of smaller hydrocarbon molecules. Kerosene, this is also known as paraffin. This is the basis of aviation fuels. Diesel, as you can see, is used as a fuel for road vehicles in the trains. Lubricating oils, these reduce frictions between moving parts in engines and other devices. Bitumen, this provide a waterproof layer for roofing and also to make tarmac for building roads. So these are the uses of the different fractions of the crude oil. You can also recall the number of carbon atom present in these fractions and their boiling points. Dear students, now we are going to focus on the photosynthesis. Dear students, photosynthesis, as the name is showing, that the synthesis because of the light. The green plants have a very special pigment called chlorophyll. This pigment is very helpful for this process of photosynthesis. Chlorophyll actually traps the sunlight, and this sunlight is used to make the food. The carbon dioxide present in the air is absorbed by the leaves through stomata, and the water is absorbed by the plants through roots. And then, with the help of the sunlight, chlorophyll helps to make the food, and in this process, oxygen is also released. As you can see, the equation of photosynthesis. The carbon dioxide combines with the water with the help of chlorophyll in the presence of sunlight and form the glucose and oxygen. And this whole process is called photosynthesis. Glucose is basically the first step for making up all the other complex carbohydrates and proteins and the fats with the essential parts of the plant's body as well as the animal bodies. So photosynthesis is very important in this regard because photosynthesis helps to trap the sunlight, the light energy into chemical energy. Photosynthesis as new renewable source, because what is renewable source? We can understand from this definition any material or energy source that cycles or can be replaced within the period of a human lifespan. Such substances or energy is called renewable resources. As you can see from this diagram as well, fuels which are derived either directly or indirectly from plants can also be described as renewable sources of energy. They are sometimes called biofuels and include wood obtained from trees and bushes, charcoal which is made from wood, ethanol made by fermenting sugar from sugarcane, biogas obtained by digesting the dung of grazing animals like cattle. So these are the process through which the energy circulates, and it is renewable because the carbon dioxide produced by burning all these energy sources, and this carbon dioxide again used by the plants, and the plants again do the process of photosynthesis and give us a biomass, and this biomass is again used to produce the energy. So this is the renewable cycle of biomass energy. This is because of the photosynthesis. Dear students, now I have selected some homework for you. This is the question: discuss the fractional distillation of the crude oil. This question is present on the page number 158 of your book. Please do it and send to your respective groups. Thank you very much for being with me. And one more request, please stay at home, stay safe. Allah Hafiz.